All right, so something that I've wanted to show you guys for a little bit of time and expand on a little bit more is this piece of kit that I put together when I'm working with realtors or construction site personnel, and they need to have the same view that I have so we can make sure we get the right shot the first time. Stick around. What's good, guys? Ken here. You're watching Original Dobo, and if this is your first time here on the channel, it's basically all no bullshit, no fluff, no fuss, drone and tech content. So if that's your thing, go ahead, hit that subscribe button now. So today I want to go ahead and show you the Hollyland 400S. This is a receiver that allows you to take HDMI and transmit it wirelessly. Now, why is this a big deal? Well, now more so than ever, social distancing is a thing. And when I'm typically doing houses, I usually have a realtor or somebody, maybe the homeowner, possibly even the neighbor, peering over my shoulders, looking to see what I'm doing or making sure I'm getting the correct angle or getting whatever it is that they want to be seen in the video. So what I have here is the two receivers. It's a two-part kit. You have the transmitter, which gets attached to your smart controller. And then of course you have a receiver that needs to be attached to some sort of monitor. Now it doesn't have to be a monitor. It just has to be something with some sort of HDMI input. So for instance, you could attach this to a TV if you're doing some sort of training. Like I know somebody asked me not too long ago as they were doing work with their football team or something like that, and they want to be able to see the plays or see their formations from the air. Well, this would give you some sort of real-time analysis of that. So what do you need to make this work? Well, we obviously need the smart controller because it has that HDMI out. And again, this works with any drone that has HDMI out. Let me power on the smart controller first. You do need a couple of batteries to make this work. It's gonna take, actually, if you have the setup that I have, it takes 3 of these Sony NP batteries. And I've got one right here. They come in all different sizes. So these are like, I would say the smaller NP batteries, but they work really well. And let me see what the capacity is on this. 2900 milliamp hour battery, but they actually go much bigger than this. You have a switch to turn on this, which I'm gonna turn the receiver on, which I don't know if it's got any juice. Nope, it does. So we've got the receiver on now, and now we need the power on the drone. And by the way, I was asked too, does this affect the signal of OcuSync? And no, it does not interfere with OcuSync. They're not even running the same channels. So that's really a good thing. Now the range is 300 feet. So you can get 300 feet of distance, which is actually quite a bit. All right, so now I have this on. I need to put a battery in this one here. And you can see the dilemma here. I'm scrambling trying to find another battery. Let me find one. And luckily, like, these things power all of my devices. These NP batteries are awesome. So I've got a battery in here. So now we got to turn on the receiver. That should turn on. So now the receiver is on and the monitor turned on automatically. And I should get videos soon. Oh, there it is. So it already detected it. And yeah, cool. So that's on. Obviously we can't see anything. We don't have an ND filter here, but let's go ahead and crank. Oh, there it is. So you can see here as I hold this up to the screen. So here I am on the drone, and that's being transmitted wirelessly from the smart controller, which is actually pretty cool. So you can see, go back and forth, and it's pretty much no latency. You can see, and obviously I'm really close, but let me do this. I'm gonna go outside in the backyard because then it's gonna have to go through, obviously, the house to be able to be seen, and you can stay here and see what you see. So let's go ahead and do this. Alrighty. So obviously I've sort of done this haphazardly, so I have no idea whether or not this is actually recorded correctly. So I'll probably need to watch that back, but it pretty much should have. It should have recorded it all, and it shouldn't have had any interference, which I think is great. So what do I use this for specifically? Well, like I said, when I'm dealing with agents, especially dealing with houses that have a specific view or something that they want me to focus on, what I do is I just hand them this entire unit just like this, because there's no buttons that will affect anything I'm doing here. They can hold this unit and just sort of monitor it from afar. If they want to sit in their car, they can do that. Same thing with project managers. Sometimes you're dealing with a build-in facility and you may have something like, I don't know, sort of out of breath after all that. That's not good. You can have something that is important that you have no idea what it is. Like I did a facility a couple of months back. It was a water treatment facility, and I couldn't tell you what any of those cylinders were, but the engineers knew exactly what they were. So what they were able to do is sort of direct me as to where I needed to fly. And it was sort of like they were flying, but they didn't actually have the controls. They were just sort of guiding me saying, hey, we need you over by this particular cylinder. They would describe the cylinder, and then I would go ahead and fly to it. I'm gonna go ahead and turn that off because that's getting really loud. But that's a prime use case scenario for something like this. Not everybody's gonna have a need for this. This is a bit extreme, but in the situation of how I like to use these, it works really well. Now the Hollyland 400S is not designed for drones by any means, but it works perfectly. And like I said, I have no issues with interference. This does not interfere with my antennas. Using the lift door kit, you do need a lift door if you're gonna make this work. Otherwise, you're gonna have this piece sort of dangling off. And I could lock this down if I really wanted to. There is screws that can go underneath here. I just don't have the screws in, so I can easily get this on and off quickly. But this is really well built, works really well, and I just thought I would share this with you guys. I know this was sort of done pretty quickly, but I wanted to show you this whole kit before, but I then wrecked the Mavic 2 Pro, so it took me a little while to do this. But it's equivalent to a live deck for the Autel Evo, except for you just sort of have your own little kit, and it works incredibly well. The monitors are pretty cheap. You can get these monitors for like $100. You don't have to get the same monitor that I have here. Obviously, you can go with higher brightness of nits. You can go with touchscreen. You can do all sorts of things. If I wanted to, I could take my Ninja Atmos, connect this to it as well, so I can sort of give a finished preview, load a LUT to it. So if I was shooting in D-Log-M, I can see exactly what it's gonna look like when I graded it all. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with a setup like this. Again, these are the Hollyland 400S. I'll have a link in the description below if you guys are interested in taking a look at these. These are not cheap, but they are effective. And if you have clients, this is an easy way to wow them. Anyways, that's going to do it for this video. If you enjoyed, go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe if you already haven't. I just don't know why I grabbed that light. And I'll see you in the next video. Stay original.